Yo, welcome back to Black Narrative. This is Black Ice.
This is the keys.
Yeah, we had to do another take this now.
Technical difficulties.
So yeah, we back for another episode. I know it's been a while.
Look it. Yeah, it's always a minute with us. It's always a
Yeah,
minute.
so
But we're back and we're ready to hop on back in.
yeah, man. So so for this particular episode here, we want to cover Slutty Vegan. So that recently they've been closing down locations. And if you're aware, I mean, they've been very popular for the past few years, but this is a black woman-owned restaurant, and it kind of took off, and it got a whole lot of money real fast, and then started crashing.
Very fast, which is something that will come up. I mean, really, it just there's a lot of different things that come up with this franchise. Firstly, oftentimes people, for some reason, when it comes to our community, which we already know the reasons, we're always used as entertainment for the world at large, and we do not mind putting ourselves out there as entertainment, whether it be in the political space or drama that we have with each other, YouTube drama, all these different things. With the Slutty Vegan, I feel like it was the case where it was definitely a show, it was a spectacle, but the staying power just was not there, and we saw the slow burn when they took it out of Spelman.
Recently.
Right, which was, so that was something that the young ladies at Spelman had voted for. But if you were to let the media tell it, and if you were to let the perception of our people be what guided the perception of how the future of Slutty Vegan would go, you would have thought that they would have had staying power. But it goes to show that does not represent us. It doesn't represent our women. It doesn't represent a lot of people. And so now, because of the controversy and all these different things, it's we're starting to see just a slow decline.
Yeah.
With a slow decline, it's like a snowball. It's getting faster.
Yeah. Have you ever tried it?
I have.
Okay. How did you like it?
It was good.
Okay.
I'm not gonna lie. Like, the food was good.
Okay.
But I mean, as we see in the article, when I found out that just reheated, it kind of changes things.
Yeah.
It's not hard. It's kind of hard to mess up a burger.
Yeah.
Let me say that.
I never had it because during the whole hype train when it first came out.
Yeah.
They had she had the food truck, and they're gonna take the place. And I remember they put up on the east side, and that's we was in the studio.
Right. Yeah.
And even then it was still like, I want to say this has been after a year, and it was still like a 3-hour wait to get a burger. You know what I mean?
To get a burger, a 3-hour wait, man. Who has time like that?
Yeah, I mean, and that was like a long line. I was like, man, like, I'm not wasting 3 hours on a burger. Like, and especially it's not even beef at that. Like,
dude, I don't know what it is with the hype when it comes to vegan food. Because there was a time, I'm not trying to call anybody out. There was a time me and Black Ice, we went to a vegan restaurant.
Oh, on the west side.
Raw food. Raw vegan food. They don't even have to cook. And we're there waiting for over an hour, and everybody's waiting, and
I'm like, bro, you ain't have to cook.
They don't have to cook it. They just have to chop it up and throw it in a wrap.
Throw it in a wrap, like a little seaweed wrap. Like it wasn't rocket science.
Man, I
mean, the food was really good, really fresh, but it's like
it was good the first time. The second time,
it kind of mid.
I don't know. Yeah, the love wasn't there. I don't know where the love went.
And they had their own garden in the front. In the front of the restaurant, you see the kale and everything. Yeah, but it's like, man, it don't take 45 minutes to make a sandwich.
But look, the hype. It's the hype. The I mean, I don't know if the time is part of the hype. Yeah. It's part of the building up the hype.
And we're not even exaggerating. It was about an hour before we got our food.
No.
Like we're not even exaggerating.
We're not being hyperbolic at all. If anything, it was more. It got to the point where it's like, I mean, should we like go somewhere else?
Yeah. It was that bad.
Yeah.
And I was just thinking to myself, like any other restaurant, they cook the food, and you have it. A good restaurant have it to you about within 20 minutes. And that's cooking it from raw.
I've worked in many different restaurants. They have a whole department for prep.
Yeah.
They have a department for the frying. They have a department. They have different stations within the kitchen. I'm not gonna lie. With a restaurant like that, it is just prep.
That's it.
There's no cook. Like, all you have is prep.
You cook, nothing had to be heated or anything.
Like, come on, man.
You're just making wraps and sandwiches. Like that's it.
That's it.
So yeah, but yeah, man, it's been interesting developments. If you're not aware about slutty vegan, yeah, it hit a downturn pretty quickly, which I kind of called it, man, because I was
Yeah.
like,
Should we give a background on the slutty vegan? I mean, are you? I guess we can't assume that everybody knows what the slutty
no,
vegan is.
no, yeah, so
Yeah,
yeah, so Peaky Cole
yeah,
is a CEO of Slutty Vegan. It's a startup, but they do strictly like a fast food vegan food.
completely vegan.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and she started with a food truck, and then kind of blew up pretty quickly.
very quickly.
And we'll go over some of the.
Around a pandemic.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and we'll give some of the menu names, but especially the women, especially our black women, really bought into it.
yeah,
And not saying the white people were too, because they were giving her a lot of money and they were showing up and showing out. But as far as our community, it was like a lot of black women showing out.
right.
They relate the whole what's the word, the whole marketing and the whole aesthetic
Look,
of it.
it's the concept. It's like you have peanut butter and jelly, you have ketchup and mustard, you have slutty and vegan. And I mean, it was just one of those things where the two came together
And it
and
just worked for them.
it
And
just
blew up.
worked. Now that's a whole case study within itself.
Yeah,
But I
yeah.
guess if it gets worked into the
Yeah,
show,
you can tap into it.
yeah,
And then so Pinky Cole is also Spellman alumni, so that was such a big deal that she lost
yeah.
a restaurant at her own school, at her alma mater, because like you went to Clark, well, he went to
Spellman,
Spellman,
yeah.
and they like, yo, they voted, like they went to school,
Yeah,
they voted
look.
by the students, like, hey, yeah, it's cool and all, but we want the taco place back.
Yeah, and in the comments, and I've seen like the different comments, they were very glad that the Slutty Vegan was off their was off the campus.
Yeah,
That's why we say it's not representative of everybody. Now there is a portion of the community that are like flies to manure when it comes to something like Slutty Vegan, and then there are going to be the other well, black folk overall, but especially black women that see that they're like, I don't want that representing me,
yeah,
and I don't want to see this on my campus,
yeah. I mean, I'm glad those.
especially with the prices.
Yes, I'm glad. Yeah, you're right. So I'm glad those black women stepped up, and held the campus accountable. Like, yo, get this out of here. You know what I
Right.
mean? So I'm really
Right.
glad to see that, especially these are young black women in school and college, because
Exactly.
we had the opportunity to meet some of them when we did hand out the care packages.
Right.
And like I say, it's good to see young people see a different set of young people thinking different.
Yeah,
Not a whole bunch
because
of YNs. You know what I mean?
right, because now nowadays it's when you go out and you just interact with young folk, you just attitudes, it's
And
like
which we got some other
baseline.
campuses.
For the other campuses. But when you went to Spelman, they were smiling. They said they said hi to you.
They were cool.
They were pleasant. You could tell they have good heads on their shoulders.
Yeah. So we're gonna go through this article here and see.
I gotta remember to look at that camera. I keep looking.
I know, right? Yeah. So this one here. I don't know. You kind of a bit rusty. We been broadcasting so long. Or
Yeah, but
recording
I
so
mean, but
long.
it's authentic. You know,
Yeah.
it's real. It's raw.
So we'll give it to you. So yeah. So when this article came out at the beginning of April, a few weeks ago, we received word that Slutty Vegan has closed its short-lived location in Harlem. We attempted to reach out to the restaurant to no avail. They suggested that while one texted them via their website, but seemed not to be monitoring the provided number. More closures followed, and then on Tuesday, a story came in People magazine that indicated business had gone through a restructuring in February.
Restructuring.
Yeah,
Yeah,
you
you know what other business was doing a restructuring?
but
Polo Tropical. You remember when there used to be a lot of them, and all of a sudden they did a restructuring, and now there's none in
they
Georgia.
done.
Yeah,
A lot of the retail going through that right now too.
right. And it's crazy that the number didn't even work. Like, what's going on with them?
Yeah. And that article, Aisha Pinky Cole Haynes, she married a chef. His last name was Haynes.
Okay.
The restaurant's founder admitted that she had not been the operational person, but sources close to the restaurant, including several who have worked with Cole Haynes, suggest that's only part of the story.
Let me ask right fast. Is she still with the chef?
I think so. I think they have a child together because
Okay.
this was recent. I want to say the past couple of years that she married this guy.
Okay.
And he owns a food truck of some sort. He's kind of popular in Atlanta, but I can't think of his name right now.
Okay.
Yep. Yeah, so according to the article, Cole Hayes on March 28th purchased her company back under the name Ain't Nobody Coming to See You Otis, LLC, a reference to the quote from the 1998 film The Temptations. That alone
so
is
corny, man. Look, Man, look, and I understand people are going to be disappointed with me saying this, but black folk, we could be fly, we could be cool, but sometimes we could be dang corny.
Yeah,
That's corny. That's
yeah.
corny
Like
to
they
say.
actually call your business that. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like 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 you
like
said, that's a meme. Ain't nobody come to you, Otis. Like that's a meme, not
that's a
a
meme. That's not something you're gonna put as a LLC after.
yeah. Like that's the
Come
old
on,
thing you come
man.
up with.
Some people are OD.
Man,
Some people are too much, man.
that said, we were unable to find entity by that name registered with the state of Georgia, but it did observe that separate entity, Vogies Inc., Cole Hayes, registered March 14th as a foreign profit corporation, which is interesting to me,
Right. Yeah.
with a home jurisdiction of Delaware. The People article also stated that Slutty Vegan currently has 8 locations, including 5 in Georgia. The Slutty Vegan app, however, indicates there's only 3 locations: Baltimore, Birmingham, and Jonesboro.
Which that's very far and wide.
Mm-hmm.
That's very far and wide.
A 4th location on Edgewood, that's like East Atlanta,
Yeah.
is still open but strangely absent from the app. The status of the location in Brooklyn is unclear, but no one answers at the restaurant, and the message is the same as closed the locations in Atlanta. Now, this article came out April 4th.
Yeah.
This last week, East Atlanta did close.
Wow.
Rex hit me up.
So it was official.
Yeah, Rex.
Shout out to Rex.
Yeah, shout out to Rex, man. But yeah,
Yeah.
he texted me, and he sent me a picture from the Instagram, and they pretty much
Yeah.
they gave away. They're like, yo, we closed,
Yeah.
and at 12 o'clock, anything that's here, you can take it for free. Like it was just boxes of stuff that anybody can just take it away.
Wow.
It was just
Man.
that sudden.
Dang, and it's crazy because when the article came out, I was saying, well, I thought it was going to be a bit slower than
Yeah.
what's going on, but it really seems like just back to back to back.
Oh yeah, it was kind of ever since we saw the first article about them getting kicked out of the college campus, it kind of
Yeah.
like went downhill from there.
Man, Rex was really boots on the ground, man.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
And our visit to the Pleasant Hill location, we were greeted with a slut in the door. Like they even said he would walk in the door.
Yeah, that's the whole trope with Slutty Vegan. You know how when you go into Moe's and it's like, welcome to Moe's, that whole thing. So when you go into Slutty Vegan,
Overkill.
yeah, it's very overkill. When you go into Slutty Vegan and you have your son and your daughter coming in with you, you guys want to get some food. The whole staff turns to you, they're like, hey, slut.
Yeah.
And you're like, yo, what? Like, my kids are here.
Yeah.
Like,
Oh my
what
God.
do I do?
Yeah, and that was it. Our brief visit must have her slut order up,
Yeah.
virgin slut in the door, etc. more times than we can count.
And when you get the food, if I recall right, they call it you've been slutted.
Yeah.
Yeah, you've been slutted or you've been slutted out. I do not believe this video was going to be monetized.
I know, right?
Goodness.
Oh man! So recent weeks have not only brought the aforementioned closure, but also closure of the outposts on the campuses of Spelman College.
Mm-hmm.
Yep, and the HBCU downtown Atlanta, and Georgia Tech. I didn't even know they were at Georgia Tech.
Man, really, it's like flashes in the pan. They're in Harlem. Next week they're gone. Georgia Tech. Next week they're gone. They just keep popping and disappearing like bubbles.
Man, so February 26th closure of Slutty Vegan at Spelman College after less than 2 years in business is disappointing on the surface, but perhaps worse still is the college replaced it with what they indicated the students wanted, the return of Twisted Taco. We want our tacos.
Yeah, seriously. Yeah, we don't want overpriced burgers that are frozen.
So the HBCU released a statement regarding the replacement. The statement says in part, the college's student dining advisory group has polled students regarding a dining replacement. As a result, Twisted Taco will return to campus. Cole Hayes, a graduate of fellow HBCU Clark Atlanta, that's why I get him mixed up. He graduated from Clark Atlanta.
I'm not gonna lie. With the way that people were acting at Clark, it makes sense.
Yeah, because that's when we had
that makes sense because Clark
way
Atlanta, that was one of the. But Clark and Morehouse, were the ones where we had the most problems.
And if you're not aware, you're not in Atlanta, all the HBCUs are like right next door to each other. It's one big hub. So to get Spelman, Morehouse, Clark Atlanta, Morris Brown, all together.
Is Morris Brown still active?
Yeah, they actually got their accreditation back a few years ago, and I guess they still got it. Okay. But yeah, because they lost it for years.
Man, anybody going to Morris Brown, man.
Yeah, cause at one point I heard they had like less than 500 students. I
can imagine with no accreditation. I mean, they're basically just going there for the freaking the gym or something. I don't know.
Yeah, so and of course they got robbed by our own. And mismanagement of money.
Right.
So yeah. So Cole Hayes announced a location in Columbus, Georgia in 2021. It was planned to replace the former China Express and be built from the ground up, and it put to be an introduction of the company's first drive-through.
Mm.
So everything was demolished in 2022, but they never built the Slutty Vegan, so that never went through.
Wow.
All right, so she said, we are the fastest growing independent restaurant franchise in the country, she proclaimed.
With no kind of numbers to back it up, or well, I mean,
But I
it
I
was
gotta
fast
admit,
growing.
it was fast growing.
It
Right?
was fast growing.
Like this from outside looking in, I was like, because I even said a few years ago, like,
Yeah.
man, like he throwing up a lot of locations pretty fast.
Yeah, but once you get more into the reasoning for it,
Yeah.
it starts to make more sense.
So interestingly, it was just a month later in May 2022, Nicole announced Slutty Vegan had received a $25 million investment for restaurateur Danny Mayer's Enlightened Hospitality Investments and Essence Venture CEO. I can't pronounce his name, Dennis.
Well, let me see. Maybe I can take a crack at it. Richelieu.
Okay.
Richelieu. Yeah, Richelieu Dennis.
So yeah, but you know that's how startups work. They raise money. They had the different seeds and all this money, and
but that is a lot of money.
Yeah, because we work with startups. 90% of startups fail,
right?
And so for her to make up to either multi-million-dollar status does say a lot. But it is a backstory to that, how she got that money. But no, that's a different story, different day.
Yeah, well, I do want to touch on it just a little bit. So with Danny Mayer,
Mm-hmm.
you know, he's you know,
yeah.
What was the term we were doing?
The ooish.
Yeah, he was a ooish guy. You know, like progressive ooish
It's
guy.
funny how they're always behind the scenes. We find it different type of stuff. Like we don't even look for it. It is there.
It's just always there. And you know, he was he's a progressive ooish guy, and this restaurant, which was really fresh, because she started from the food truck. She wasn't. It was, of course, it was trendy, but it wasn't something that had staying power. But they decided this is the restaurant that, out of all the black restaurants that you see around that are getting some hype and traction, this was the one where they're like, we're gonna put $25 million into their pocket, and we're gonna make sure that they sweep the country. And for a while, when it came to black restaurants, that was our representation. That was the one you always saw.
All the mom and pop black restaurants they have out there, you know, she's the one to get the multi-million-dollar one.
The Slutty
Vegan get the
Slutty Vegan.
And then stop there. You got more.
Yeah.
You know, the investment value for what was then a 4-unit chain at an eye-popping $100 million. $100 million.
$100 million. Man.
The money was used to beef up Slutty Vegan C-suite, which also fueling growth, according to the CEO and founder Pinky Cole. All right, so the Mayer's...
Man, look, with $100 million, I don't think you just beef up.
Right. So Mayer's investment, that's the guy from that's the small hat who invested the money. He came after he partnered with Cole on Slutty Shack, a part of Shack Shack's now serving.
Did they have a Slutty Vegan, but
so
they had
a spinoff.
They had a Slut Shack.
Yeah.
But that was one of the spinoffs. I think they had a couple of them.
Yeah.
Yeah, which the article mentions.
Yeah. So Cole Hayes told Forbes in May 2022 that she would have to use the funds to open 10 more units by the end of 2022 and another 10 in 2023. But today is only this 5. Really, today is this 4. Really, I think it's this 3. Like, it's been fast moving since the article came out.
Man, because you said the one at Edgewood closed down, right?
Yeah.
No, that means it's only 2, ain't it? That means there's only 2. Because there was the one in Baltimore and the other one in Mississippi.
No, it wasn't Mississippi. It was
Louisiana? No, Birmingham.
Yeah, Birmingham.
So that means there's only 2 left. If the one at Edgewood closed down.
Yeah.
Dang.
Yeah. Huh. So speaking at a business franchising event in 2024, Cole claimed that her average unit volume was 2 million, and that Bar Vegan does an average of 3.6 million every year. And I did not know that she owned that too.
Right, yeah.
Bar Vegan is that vegan spot in the Ponce City Market upstairs. I went there. I went there for render ATL.
Yeah, because I don't remember Bar Vegan.
Because we don't eat there. Right, the only food option, you're not going to no Bar Vegan.
That is true, yeah.
But it's a nice spot. But now that I know that she owns it, it makes sense because it's like your typical Atlanta vibe where, and I hate this, but they play the lit music while you're trying to eat, and
Right.
And then and then their wings are cauliflower wings, and yeah, similar.
And you're
So
sitting across from, your friend, having to
yeah,
yell over the music, having to yell over Beyonce's Single Ladies.
yeah, basically,
Yeah.
yeah. So Mohammed Yazin, a veteran of both GPS Hospitality and
Mhm.
Panera, was tapped into Slutty Vegan's district manager, while Joy Alexander, a Vegan's national director of sales and catering, both joined the business in late 2021, but were gone less than 2 years later.
Which is something that I personally think is wild. I would love to know the story behind why they left.
Hmm.
But not only did a Slutty Vegan get a lot of investment, but the fact that they had heavy hitters come in and joining and helping the company,
Hmm.
like that's not just investment.
Yeah.
It's not just the investment. It's you're getting all this help. You're getting these huge names that have worked at Panera
Yeah.
and worked at such and such, and now they're working to help you get your
It,
business off the ground.
it was smart because it could also help you attract even more money because now they see who's on your team and they
Exactly.
feel more comfortable giving you millions of dollars. Like, okay, get these successful people on board.
Right, because the investors know.
Yeah. Yeah.
Wow.
But it's just know. Yeah, I'm curious why they left too, but I'll put money on it. Probably has something to do with her personality.
I would not be surprised.
Like,
Look,
hands down.
we're working in the startup space. You
Yeah.
come across some people where the idea is not even that bright. I'm not gonna lie. The Slutty
Yeah.
Vegan is not a novel idea, but they have the personality of badgers, just these viper-like personalities, and you can't work with them.
Yeah.
You can't work with them.
Slutty Vegan posted on the Instagram page this past November that they were looking for a president. It's unclear what became of that search.
Which is wild. The fact that it just posted it like that.
On Instagram, of all places.
Yeah, I mean, that's always the canary in the coal mine as far as somebody not being professional is whenever they're like, hey, whenever we go to an event or anything, and they're like, oh, do you have an Instagram? You mean LinkedIn?
Yeah, like this is probably a business event. You probably
You're trying to find
get
a
our bag up.
president for a multi-million
Like, I can't
dollar.
think of it. Last time I seen somebody posted a CEO opening or something that's sort of like, yo, just put it on the Instagram page.
It's just freaking butt pics on Instagram. So the same place that's known for butt pics, you're gonna be like, you know what? Let me go ahead and see if I can find any precedents for a multi-million-dollar franchise.
I can only imagine how many resumes and from who
Right,
responding to that. He
man.
kept it wide open like that.
I,
That's wild.
I can imagine they're like, man, a lot of people were getting called up and be like, look, you might as well apply.
Yeah, might as well.
You might as well apply. You might see what they say.
A highly anticipated location in Harlem opened in early March 2023, but less than 2 years later it was closed.
Wow.
Harlem location, however, lasted far longer than the location on Bleecker Street and Greenwich Village. I only know that one at.
Yeah.
It was closed by June.
Man, so just going down the list, you had Harlem, you had freaking the Village place, you had Peachtree, you had all these different places, and they're all Spelman. You had Georgia Tech.
And hey, I got two more here. They said that she later also opened later closed locations in Athens and Dallas, Texas, which was called temporary.
So that's just 7 locations that have been brought up, and that's not including the ones where she either tried to get in or maybe some that were just forgotten from the article. That is a lot of locations to just pop up and disappear. 2 years is not a long time in the business world.
No. A joint venture location was planned at the airport, Atlanta airport, which is the busiest in the world.
Right.
That was announced in January 2024. That was recent.
Yeah.
We were planning opening this past fall, but that hasn't happened, and sources close to the project indicate that it won't.
Now, the fact that it was announced in January, it makes me wonder how the information is moving. Because for you to announce it and it's like, oh, no, never mind, we're actually going out of business. We're actually going into freaking bankruptcy.
Yeah, something.
Potentially.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure some back end stuff we're not aware of.
Right.
Slutty Vegan spinoff, The Morning After.
You know what? The morning after. Come on, man. Come on.
Like, so she's just digging into that theme.
This has to be the theme. Now because we're involved. Not only do you have the Slutty Vegan, right? You have the spinoff, the Slut Shack, and then you have the other spinoff, The Morning After. And that's we're proud of this.
Yeah,
We can't wait to champion this.
man. And that was supposed to have opened on Marietta Street. It used to be a Delia's Chicken Sausage Stand, which they used to be real good.
Definitely.
But that was near Georgia Tech, but they never did. They never opened.
Wow.
I guess that's something else that was announced but didn't open. Affiliate Slutty Vegan purchased the property in April 2023 with plans to open later that year, but it just didn't happen. And she sold the property this past March. So this is pretty recent. Yeah, so speaking of spinoffs, Cole Hayes, the Bar Vegan, debuted Ponce City Market, we were talking about. That's in February 2021. And they opened up another location in Lawrenceville this past August. I didn't know, but it was closed by December. Okay, how about that? I never heard, they had
now
another
the
location.
Bar Vegan that's in Ponce City, is it still there?
I think it's still there. Okay. This one, like I said, the only reason I know it's there because Ponce City is a full mess hall and shops and stuff.
Yeah.
And it's multi levels to it. Yeah. But the area you usually go to is on the bottom floor. That one's upstairs. And the only reason I knew it was up there because I went to the Render Tech conference and they had an event there.
Of course, they were going to have an event there.
Of course,
man. When I tell you,
yeah. So that's what I'm saying. It all makes sense now.
Yeah.
Yeah. Going down a little bit more. Oh yeah. So she long stated that Slutty Vegan will be $1 billion brand, bigger than McDonald's and Burger King and Chick-fil-A, as she said.
That is very, very important. Look, you guys, there's a difference between having good old confidence and believing in yourself and being arrogant as hell.
Yeah.
How do you believe that something called a Slutty Vegan is gonna overshoot
McDonald's, Burger King, and Chick-fil-A?
Come on, man. McDonald's is everywhere. Burger King.
I know you say aim for the stars, but damn.
Man, she's aiming for freaking outside the universe, man. That's ridiculous.
So McDonald's, Burger King, Chick-fil-A operate a combined more than 65,000 locations, doing more than $16 billion in revenue. So the vegan was not then, and it's not now, a $100 million brand or a serious challenger to any legacy brand. To be clear, the vegan is not alone in their struggles in the vegan food space. After turning entrepreneur Kevin Hart shuttered his 4-unit Hart House business this past September.
Was that a vegan place?
Mm-hmm. After the 2 years of business, abandoning expansion plans were to have at least one Atlanta restaurant. Yeah, because I actually read about this not too long ago too. He was out in Cali.
Yeah.
And it just closed overnight. And they're called Hart House.
Well, firstly, the whole vegan thing, man, it's wild how this trend is just sweeping our community.
Yeah.
And we have to understand that veganism is a fringe. It's a fringe form of dieting. You're not going to have a restaurant. Now, people will come because there are diehard vegans that they swear by it. Like, you can't tell them nothing. You could show them all the nutritional charts and how the human body works. They do not give a damn, and they will go to your restaurant because they believe that if you eat goat, you act like a goat. But but for everybody else, they're not going to be that interested in something so fringe.
Yeah, or they may eat it every now and then, but then they're not going to be their full diet.
It's not going to be their full diet, and even the every now and then, it's
dicey. Yeah,
seriously, because why would you look Slutty Vegan? Yeah, the food's good, but I mean, there's 5 guys down the street. There's Checkers down the street.
Yeah. Unlike Hart House and other Slutty Vegan does not make its own burgers. They are Impossible or Beyond burgers, nor their own fries, which is frozen. Mm-hmm. There's little special about it, say for its sauces.
Right.
I see why you ate there. You want those sauces and just...
Man, look, I do like sauces.
You do like your sauces.
But man, now that, honestly, with sauces like that, you could probably make it at home.
Yeah, it's a sauce.
It's house sauce. I mean, the slut sauce, really was house sauce. It's just regular sauces, really.
Not only that, its prices out of reach for many consumers. Mm-hmm. The double veggie shack at Shake Shack is about $12, a proprietary burger, and actually made largely of vegetables. Wow. So their stuff's not even frozen. And my thing is, they even make their own fries. Like, that's easy. That's just potatoes.
That's it. All you have to do is have some potatoes.
Man. There's the sacks of potatoes.
And the thing with, because I was under the impression that they were putting together their own patties. They've had this Impossible meat. That's why really.
That's probably why they had a dousing in sauce.
Right. This is Impossible meat. It's just Impossible and the Beyond meats. So it's the same thing, and the article goes into it, but you're not getting. This is the thing when it comes to veganism, and I was having a conversation with Mark a couple of days ago about it, and we were talking about with when it came to the veganism, and it would be one thing if veganism was, you have your beans, you have your potatoes, you have your rice, you have like such
Mm.
things of sustenance and all that, and that you had a fulfilling diet that was diverse. Now you would have to make sure you're getting your protein. I'm not gonna freaking go into the
Mm.
nutritional aspect of it, but you would have to like just overall having a balanced diet that would make sense, and it would actually evade hypocrisy if you were to just stick to just anything that came from the earth. But the thing with veganism is oftentimes it soy, tofu, you get a bunch of processed crap because it's not about health. It's not about wellness. It's really just
It's a buzzword because it's so
yeah,
processed,
exactly.
and that would happen. And I think she's a part of the downfall of the vegan food phase anyway, because Beyond
Right.
Burger, they
Exactly.
got exposed because they realized it's so processed that it wasn't any healthier than getting your burger from McDonald's or Burger King.
Wait, ow, black eyes. Black eyes. Did people actually think the Beyond Burger was healthy?
Yeah, think about
What?
it.
People actually thought that was healthy? No,
They think it's
man.
vegan, like they don't think about that stuff, man.
Look, y'all,
Yeah.
if you thought the Beyond Burger was healthy for you, I got a whole bunch of beach houses in Idaho. And I need I got a whole bunch of beach houses in Idaho for y'all.
Oh
People
man.
thought that was healthy.
Like
Man.
it's vegan. You're not eating meat. You're not killing animals, and
I
it's so processed. Yeah, yeah, exposed heavily. Man, this happened a couple years ago, but they start
man.
dropped so much that they got exposed, saying like, "Yo, like this is unhealthy than anything else."
Right,
You know,
it's
yeah.
not worse because it's all just a bunch of processed stuff made in the lab. There goes your Whole Foods. It's freaking it's made by people wearing lab coats and goggles. There you
Yeah,
go.
you know,
Uh,
she said our corporate overhead was about $10 million. I was chasing something I couldn't catch for so many reasons. Cole Hayes did not explain what made operating her handful of restaurants so costly, or what made the investment money was used for. Yeah, why your overhead $10 million off
that is a
frozen food you buy
lot.
in bulk?
That is crazy.
So I know you're getting it for little or nothing. You're not
Yeah.
even serving fresh food.
And from what I remember, I mean, really, I think they only serve burgers. It's not. I don't remember them
It's
having
burger
a
and fries.
very burgers and fries.
It's sauce.
So the menu is not really that expansive to start with. So there's
So
not much
yeah,
of a
there's a waste of
reason.
money somewhere,
Yeah,
or pocketing money somewhere.
exactly. Right, right.
Allegedly.
Allegedly, allegedly.
Cole Hayes did not explain what made. Oh yeah, I read that part. In response to where can I find your nutritional facts on the FAQ page, it said your health and awareness are important to us. We are currently working on nutritional facts and calorie counts for all our menu items, which never posted.
Here's the thing, because I worked at a laboratory. So when it comes to nutritional facts, and firstly, you're making the burger, you should already know what's in it. I mean, they're burgers and fries. That should be just and sauce. That should already be out there.
Yeah.
And if you want to know your calorie count and the composition of your food, they have labs where they will where you just send in your food
Mm-hmm.
and they'll test that for you and give you the information. It doesn't have to be guesswork. She just didn't
No.
want to pay for it, I guess.
It would expose them because you can't promote
Right.
yourself as vegan and healthy, so to speak, and then
Yeah.
you get the nutrition facts saying something different.
That's a crazy thing. People have to realize vegan does not mean healthy. Oftentimes,
Then you know all the processed stuff because, like,
right.
yeah, think about it, man. Like, it's already frozen, extra processed,
Yeah.
and then you drown out the bad taste with a bunch of sauces, with probably a bunch of sugar in it and
Not
whatnot,
a bunch of sugar and salt.
and salt.
Yeah.
It's probably just horrible.
Right.
In less than 3 years, she burned through $25 million invested by Shake Shack owner Danny
Wow.
Mayer, the small hat, and Shea Moisture founder, the other guy, Dennis, with an unrealistic multi-state expansion plan that stopped at just 8 company-owned locations in 4 states.
Wow.
Add to that the operational inefficiencies due to the lack of hands-on management from her as owner. She commingled with her personal and business brands, focusing more on the
Man.
personal side with her book and LLC giveaway stunts more than her core business, which is food.
And don't you see that a lot in our community now?
Oh yeah.
Where there is Now, I'm not saying being professional, being businesslike does not mean you have to be a stiff in a suit with a clean shave and named Joe Smith, but there is a separation between business and personal life that we have to learn how to do.
Yeah, and then, everybody want to be a celebrity.
Everybody want to be influencers. Everybody
Yeah,
wants to be
instead
influencers.
of trying to run a successful business and be low
Exactly.
key.
Right.
You know.
I don't get that.
And after failing to scale nationally, now she wants to expand globally in Africa and all places, Dubai.
Dubai.
Not surprised.
Man.
That's our audience, though.
Oh, wait a second, man. Wait, firstly, y'all gotta understand Dubai is still in a Muslim country, firstly. And secondly, this, I mean, I understand, in our community we have a horrible grasp of geopolitics, but this is somebody that is supposed to have millions of dollars. You would think that she would know a little bit more about geopolitics than that. And even in Africa, there's a lot of Muslim countries.
Because she probably thought, hey, there's no pork in it.
That, that's probably as far as it went. That's probably as far. She probably thinks she's gonna liberate the women over with a bunch of with the slut sauce.
That's so wild. Yeah, and the years have been hit with lawsuits in New York and Atlanta for former employees, alleging, among other things, that the restaurant withheld a portion of their tips while paying them less than the federal minimum wage, and also did not adequately compensate overtime pay.
I was actually trying to find, and I was talking to black guys about it before the show. I saw a case. It was Howe versus Slutty Vegan. I was trying to find information on it. I wasn't able to, for some reason, they just paywalled me, so I wasn't able to get through and actually get it. I'm not sure if anybody knows of any websites where you're actually able to access court
Yeah,
documents.
if you told me beforehand, I know of a site that kind of help just get past the paywall and show you articles.
Yeah,
But
that could have been the case. But it just goes to show they've been taken to court.
Yeah, but
Multiple times.
I wanted this lawsuit here that was filed April 2nd in New York to remedy illegal conduct, including sexual harassment, gender discrimination, imposition of a hostile working environment, and retaliation by a defendant, his former employer.
Look,
I would not be surprised.
And this is one thing when it comes to the term hyena. Fits very well here. When you're working in an environment where you have a bunch of slutty vegans, I would say, or people that share that kind of mentality, oftentimes it's going to be a hostile work environment, especially if you go in there as unfortunately as a straight black man just trying to mind your business. It can end up being a hostile work environment because some people, they take their trauma, they wear it on their shoulder, and they turn their trauma into a political belief. And if you are seen as on the other side of that political barbed wire,
Yeah, dude, she went to HBCU. I hate to say
she went to Clark.
With Clark, so they've been putting that stuff in your head for years anyway.
Yeah.
Like
that we're oppressors, we're enemies, we're this, that, and a third. So there are situations, and I've faced situations where I go and I try to do my job and be left the hell alone, and they'll come to you with the BS, and it's like, I don't know you, like. There's no reason for you to be talking to me. I'm just here to do my job.
I'm reading one of the comments here.
Yeah.
This doesn't remotely surprise me. I've been to Slutty Vegan once, and it was terrible. The wait time was well over 2 hours. This was during the height of the online popularity. I get that.
Yeah.
And when I finally received my order, it was wrong. The yelling of slut this and slut that was incredibly annoying and gimmicky. The fries were so salty, they were inedible. I felt scammed out of $20+ for the most mediocre meal.
What the heck?
I mean, she has some good comments in here too from some followers, but I thought that was just funny here.
Wow.
Yeah,
I would never allow a company with the name Slutty to park in my shopping center if I had one.
I don't care how good the food might be. I'm not about to patronize any business with such a vulgar, low-class name.
Right. No, seriously. It is vulgar and it is very low class.
Yeah. So, like, man, a Bentley, I guess she had a Bentley. Considering that she's in the food service, that tells you two things. She's a price gouging in a huge way, and they're just a sucker born every minute.
Wow.
That capitalism, though. They all try to get over on you.
Yeah, that's true. But that's the thing when it comes to somebody like Cole. No tact. they will screw you over and then be upset when you try to when you try to stop their flow, or when like they're not even you know how with YT people, I guess that's what they say on YouTube.
Yeah.
You know, when it comes to them, they'll screw you over, but they'll like be pleasant about it, and
Yeah.
they'll be like you kind of got to put the pieces together, be like,
Mhm.
hey, you know, my check was a
Mhm.
little short, you know, that was kind of odd when they made me sign this. They'll do that, but with somebody like Cole, they'll just flat out screw you over and look in your face and say, what you gonna do about it,
Yeah.
and have nothing but gall and animosity when it comes to them getting theirs from you.
Yeah.
But as soon as their karma comes back, all of a sudden it's the sexism, it's the racism, it's the
Anybody but
every
them.
ism. Yeah,
Everything but them.
it's everything, right?
Yeah. So this what we I think I can't put it on the screen because I just pulled this up last minute,
Yeah,
but
we just threw it together. We
yeah.
threw this
But
together.
I'm gonna get some of the
Yeah.
names of some of the stuff that's on the menu at Slutty
Mm-hmm.
Vegan. The first combo on here says Project Chicken Fries.
Project Chicken Fries.
It includes Beyond Tenders, Slutty Strips,
Slutty
vegan.
strips. Slutty strips. That's what they call the
Yes,
tenders.
yes.
Slutty strips. Very
The
creative.
next one, Hollywood Hooker and Fries, and then they got Fussy Hussy and Fries.
Fussy hussy.
Then they have Dance Hall Queen and Fries. They're probably like they're probably the cleanest one they have on here on the list.
That's the one I had. I had a dance hall queen
That's
with yeah.
that's a Jamaican thing to do.
No. It wasn't because it's because of the way it looked on the menu. You're giving the FBA community too much ammo.
I know. Hey, that's a plant-based patty loaded with sweet jerk, plantains, vegan cheese, caramelized onions. Okay, you know,
It seemed
it's
like
not
the best one.
interesting.
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah. To be quite honest,
yeah, they
man, you're
can.
giving them so much
I
ammo.
know. I'm sorry,
The
man. I
comments are
had
gonna be
to.
full of the keys, the keys, on FBA, the keys of the tender.
They got the big meat and fries.
What is it?
It's a vegan pulled brisket by Chunk Sandwich.
It said bet meat and
Big
what?
meat.
Big meat and
Yeah, don't make me repeat it. I don't need nobody to clip this.
okay, well,
It's
I
a
had to
vegan.
get the name.
What the hell is a vegan brisket? It's not a brisket if it's vegan.
I guess I mean, it's not fall off the bone. What's it? It's fall off the stem.
Then they got sloppy toppy and fries, and then they had the one night stand and fries. Now, mind you,
Yeah,
her goal is to
yeah,
be, and then of course they got the slutty fries, the slut sauce,
yeah,
and then the honey mustard,
yeah.
and slutty shakes, and then what does it have here as far as the drinks here? You see any funny names with this one?
I'm
Okay, no, they don't have any. This slutty craft beverages. So
Let's
this,
go to the kids menu. What do they call the kids menu? Because I remember that was something that just like threw me for a loop.
yeah, no, they I don't think they had a name for it. It did say kids. I did see a child on the on the site.
There was a kids menu. Let me see.
No, I'm going back and see. Oh wait, they opened up this tab.
Okay, let me see. I
All
know they had a kids menu. Sides. What? Maybe they took it off
the,
because they had
I did see a child somewhere on the site briefly.
because there was a kids menu. It had some wild freaking names for
That's
if I
crazy.
recall right.
Yeah. Maybe I go to shop now. Maybe okay. That page don't work no more.
What the heck, man? You guys, this is we're just live, testing out the site.
Okay, we're hiring catered to you. There, okay, that's a child. Yeah. Let's see what it says here. Is there a name for it or not? No, it's not a name. It's just Eat Plants Kids Meal. You get China Beyond Cheeseburger and Beyond Chicken Tenders.
Okay.
And a free temporary tattoo.
A free temper. Oh, you got to be kidding me.
You hitting that tattoo? You hitting that tattoo?
But I mean, it was Eat Plants Kids. Eat Plants Kids. Okay. So it's just pushing.
And mine is like this supposed to be bigger than McDonald's,
right?
Burger King, Chick-fil-A. But
if I may just touch on just the dogma behind all this, Dr. Sebi preached eating alkaline. You know what I mean? Getting your veg in. But I would love to know. Rest in peace to Dr. Sebi. I would love to know how he would think about the slut burgers. How particularly
I
the
was just you
sloppy
would hate it
topping.
because all that stuff is this processed junk,
Exactly.
frozen junk. Like you can even
Right.
make your own fries. You can even buy some bags of
Come on.
potatoes,
Right.
put them through a little cutter, and fry them. Like that's all that it
It's
is fried.
very
It's just potatoes.
simple. Man, I'm not gonna lie. When I imagined how the kitchen must look and how it
It's just bags of frozen food.
this is bad. I imagine it's so easy. That job must be so simple. It's really two steps, maybe
It
two
was,
steps more complicated than the place we went to where they ain't ever had to cook.
and then I was thinking about like, okay, why you wait time so long when really you just heating up frozen food.
It's heating up frozen
You're not
food,
making your own patties by hand.
putting
You're not
sauce
cutting
on
them.
them.
You're
Right,
throwing them into some sauce. Will probably come out of a jug,
right.
pre-made probably, and then
Right.
yeah, and these fry. It's like
I do
that's
not
it.
get it. I don't get how that works.
It's a bad process from top to bottom.
Right. Wow.
Horrible. So yeah, I'm not surprised. Like
Yeah.
but yeah. So when I came across the article and knew it was closing down,
Yeah.
I mean, mentally, I called it 5 years ago. I knew it's kind of
Yeah.
everything under this slutty gimmick, and then like how can you grow? How can you say you be big as McDonald's or Chick-fil-A? You can't cater to children,
You can't even cater to
and
children.
then there's no flexibility in your menu because like it'd be
Right.
different. You had some meat options there. You
Right.
don't. It's just all beyond crap that
It's
people don't
all
even want.
beyond freaking. It's all beyond.
People ain't even buying
Right.
beyond stuff in the stores anymore.
It's
Hardly.
right. Seriously,
So they definitely gonna be paying overinflated prices to the the
man.
food truck and restaurant.
And now that the whole vegan hype, because you remember there used to be that point in time where like they would blindfold people and they would have them taste it beyond meat and be
Yeah.
like, this tastes like beef. Like no, now that the hype is gone, people are actually doing that. It's like nah, like I can tell the difference.
It's funny, yeah, with one guy here wearing I call it the chin diaper.
And of course they got the brother wearing the chin diaper.
Yeah,
Yeah,
the brother
they
from
have him
2020.
with the mask.
Yeah.
With the mask on. He's taking off the mask just to eat.
Yeah, that's crazy,
Just to
man.
eat his sloppy toppy
Any final any,
with fries.
any final thoughts, sir?
Man, well, there's a lot to say as to the direction that's happening with the slutty vegan. I mean, we are really in the whole go woke, go broke era, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And the issue with wokeness is it was never about black folk. It was never about us.
Mm-hmm.
It was never about us because if it was about us, we'd be focusing on community.
Mm-hmm.
We would be focusing on rebuilding our families. We would be focusing on actual enterprise, not opening slutty restaurants. We'd be focusing on things that would allow us to have a strong international community. But that's not the case. And any movement that is not promoting a strong black family and a strong black community is not a movement I want to join. That's one of the problems that we had in the space was like, okay, you might promote black families, that's great. You might promote black unity, but you only promote it within country lines.
Mm-hmm.
When I say promote a strong black community, I mean promoting a strong black community regardless of nationality. So any movement that does not promote for us look at every other nationality. You got the Chinese, you got the Uish,
Mm-hmm.
you got Arabs, you have all these different groups of people. When they go international, they stick together.
Mm-hmm.
They don't, like, of course they're gonna be like, oh, you're from Toronto, or you're from California, you're from Atlanta. But when they come together, all the nationality crap drops. Now with us, we've been conditioned so much by the overarching white supremacist global scape to the point where we are integrating it into our identity and into how we want to move forward as a community. So something like the Slutty Vegan was bound to fall because it's based on self-serving, as you see.
Yeah, I was while you were talking, I was just thinking about how we built projects and businesses and stuff before.
Yeah.
So we know like the many meetings you had to go through in the very beginning just to get stuff started.
Exactly.
So you telling me
right.
like all these meetings and stuff, y'all really thought like, yo, Blood Vegan is it? Like,
It's it. Right.
but you are. I can only imagine whole circle was. All right,
Right.
because we
Yeah.
seen groups, and I hate to say, it'd be like these like a group of all black liberal women.
Right.
If you come across them,
Yeah.
and they all have the same mindset,
And
and
let's
there's no
hype each other up.
accountability. Yeah,
It's just an echo chamber.
and and they're probably gassing her up. They would go run with the
Hmm.
name, and they was probably drinking their mimosas or whatever, come up with
Right.
the menu,
Right.
and they actually ran with it. Like that's crazy.
But that's another thing that is really, I mean, there's a lot of different case studies within our community. But one thing is just our ability to communicate with other and interface with other communities, because we have these certain ideas that, because we believe something and because we think that something is right, that everybody has to agree with it, and if they don't, then there's something wrong with them.
Hmm.
So basically, it's the your head being so far up where the sun can't shine,
Hmm.
to the point where you cannot see the perspectives of other communities and understand, like, oh well, maybe they won't appreciate this. I remember even when me, you, and Mark were at a tech event, and they were using a platform in order to complain about jobs in the black community, in the black tech community. And I remember I went up and I was saying, well, whenever white people go throughout their day, you have to understand they're not thinking about you. You know, they have their white family, they have their, white
The hell thing
husband,
going
white
on?
wife, right? White picket fence, white dog. You know what I mean? Everything's white. At what point of the day do you think they're gonna sit and be like, huh? I wonder how the blacks in tech are gonna, like. They don't care, and it's the same thing with us. We have to be realistic about how we interface with the world. If you're not gonna be realistic and be able to really see the truth of the reality that we are living, then the reality is gonna bite you
But you sound like that.
sooner or later.
You sound like that speech from Boondocks. Aaron Magruder. He did at that college thing, and
Yeah,
yeah, he was saying he was like, "Yo, like, I hate to break it to you,
yeah,
but these white folks don't care about you."
yeah. No, I mean, which is, you would think is the no brainer.
Yeah,
You would think it's the
it's
no
like that
brainer.
serious. They don't think about your past, or they live their
Right,
own lives and deal
right,
with their own thing. And
right.
like, so why you worry about what they're doing? Like
Exactly. But we have all these unrealistic notions that we get from movies, we get from TV, we get it from all these
want to be
different
catered
things.
to, and
Right.
like everybody be like kissing your butt. Like,
Exactly. But
no,
no, that is not the case. So with the slutty vegan, it's just a coming down to earth. You know what I mean? He's just coming to earth.
I think, and then like when I saw it, I think this is a small piece of what's happening. You're gonna be seeing a lot of this.
We're gonna
Yeah,
look, woke is falling apart. We're seeing what's happening with the DEIs.
yeah,
We're
because
seeing what's happening
can you see the
within the
people?
government.
Can you see the people who've been working those DI positions who they were, and then
Right.
and they supposed to be there to advocate for us, and they didn't. A
They
lot of them
don't.
got caught
Yeah.
stealing and everything, got fired.
Right.
Then we've been seeing a lot of them judges lately.
Exactly.
One black woman judge, she shot two men.
Wow.
Yeah, ex boyfriends or whatever, man, and used the law to her advantage. And
Wow.
it got him in jail. One of them in jail for a minute to realize like, oh, maybe it's her. You know what I
Right.
mean? So so you say you're doing this for us, and then you get into these
Right.
to see at the table, then it's about yourself.
And we're seeing, that's really a common theme that we're seeing, is the fact that we have people, and we know and we've come across people that have these positions, and they do not use these positions to help the black community. Now, they will have forums. They will all have come together, and they'll all cry and have, freaking,
I would say not just
like,
black women too, because like so some black men who the
black
same.
folk
Yeah,
overall.
yeah,
Yeah, like Kendrick Lamar,
hmm,
OK Llama, when he had We Cry
yeah.
Together. We have a lot of We Cry Together sessions where you
Those
have
are
these
horrible.
people that have power, they have influence, they have money, and they come together and they just complain and, oh, the white man's not giving me this
Yeah,
anymore, and they just do that.
they feel like they're entitled to it.
They feel entitled to it, but they don't want to help you. They don't want to help us. They don't want to help the black community because they believe in a seat in the table.
Hmm.
And that's the thing. When you believe in having a seat at the table,
You already
this is your
lost.
seat. Nobody's going to sit in your seat. And so you're going to make sure that nobody else gets that seat. But when you believe in building your own tables, you can build as much tables as you want.
You do what you want.
Exactly.
Yeah, so we appreciate y'all tuning in and giving us a watch. I know it's been a while.
Yeah, and
but
I know we're a bit rusty. We have a new setup. We're trying to figure out where to put our hands and where to look.
Yeah, right. Yeah, so like this is really just random that we did it, but I just thought we share this and see where it goes. But hope y'all doing well. Thank you for viewing. Like, share, subscribe, because we'll be back eventually. With the episode, so we see where it goes.
Right.
But shalom. Have a good one.
Shalom. Stay vigilant.
And there you go.